great wedding, wasn't it, last week?
Yeah.
We unfortunately missed Kaylee, but it reminded me of my own wedding. I remember the wedding day, Denise and I. I was only invited to the evening do. I don't know why.
You still turn.
Did you turn up?
So my TED talk tonight is in regard to survivor's bias, which I'll explain a little of, and the wisdom of Joan Rivers, the comedian. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what is this guy on, and can we get it cheap? So, a survivor's bias, it's when advertisers use this, they only tell us about something that's happened that's good, and they leave out the information of the thousands of people who never achieved anything. So this happens around Christmas time quite a lot, when we're all encouraged to go and join the gym, and we're told, it only takes a week and we'll have a 6-pack within the week, yeah? And we sign up, and 6 months later we're looking at our bank statement and we're going, what is this we're paying for? Because we've never been. And the truth is, they don't tell us about the thousands of people who've signed up and, like us, never went, never achieved anything. So that's called survivor's bias. It's taking just one particular incident and leaving a lot of information outside. And so looking at, rather than a causal connection, a casual connection. It's just that two things happen. They tell us about one but not about the other, okay? We buy in. And we buy in because we want an easy solution, okay? And Joan Rivers once said, she said, if God had wanted me to bend down a lot, he would have put diamonds on the floor. So there you go. So she knew the truth. And another good example of this is when we might sign up to a dating agency. This again happens around Christmas, a lot of breakups around Christmas. And so we're all encouraged then to find a new partner and join one of these dating agencies. And they always show us these glamorous people, don't they? These gorgeous, glamorous people. You think, oh yeah, I've got to meet someone like that. And of course it's not like that, is it? There's a lot of people on these sites who aren't quite like that. And Joan Rivers said, I did try dating online, she said. And she said, actually, the odds are very good. She said, but the goods are very odd. So there you go, that's what it's all about. But sometimes when you put in the opposite thinking, someone's thought through a particular problem, they come up with a really brilliant idea and answer. And that's what this poem's about in part. Of course, it's total madness. But so there's 4 stories in it, well 3 stories and one little piece of information. So the first story is from the Second World War, true story, and it's where someone has worked through all that, grinded through all that bulk of information and come up with an answer, when a lot of other people were looking at survivor's bias and thinking, oh, this is the answer. And the second story is about a very strange creature with a very particular talent, and I think before the England game on Sunday, after you've heard this second story, you'll all be going out and phoning the pet shop and saying, can we get one of these? We need it very quickly. And I think then you'll bet your house on the final score, okay? And the third one is where I was looking for inspiration, what could keep me alive longer, so I chose an agony ant. Unfortunately, I didn't choose the right kind of agony ant. And then the fourth one is a piece of information which I think you'll all agree with or disagree with, but I'm sure you'll go home tonight talking about it. So here it is, survivor's bias. Abraham Vold. Abraham Vold was a mathematician and part of the Allies' statistical research group. The SRG, which defied convention, was a human form of computer before the computer invention. They were clever people established in World War II to resolve any contention. The go-to group the top military brass would go to when seeking an intellectual intervention. During the early part of the war, losses of crews and planes were mounting, and conventional wisdom suggested examining the planes which returned and strengthening the parts damaged by enemy fire. But up stepped Vold, who said, as presumptuous as it may sound, I believe your thinking is wrong. The damaged areas of the returning planes show where the plane is strong. It's the undamaged areas which are required to be reinforced. Eventually, it was Bowles' clever thinking and his recommendations which were endorsed. And as a result, they made more effective predictions and saved many more lives, aiding the Allies' cause. Second part. Now, Paul was an octopus, just your ordinary, everyday kind of mollusk. The very type of octopus who trusts me, you could trust. Born in Weymouth, down by the shore. A simple kind of mollusk life was all that Paul ever wished for. But Paul had a unique gift, the root of which no one could divine. For Paul could accurately predict the outcome of any football match, on average almost 80% of the time. His keepers at the zoo would feed Paul from 2 separate bowls, each representing competing teams. And the bowl of Paul's choice would more often than not be the team which secured its dreams. Well, an agent for Paul was found, and he received a transfer request from a German zoo, a £30,000 transfer fee and a special unique clause. Paul would be an exhibit and never end his days on the restaurant menu as a speciality main course. My own particular personal guru, Keith Richards. I like to take care of myself. Now that's a fact. And no one else would be bothered, I grant you that. And I look considerably younger than my age. That's not just the opinion of me. 9 out of 10 of the people I'll never ask also agree. But I'm getting on, feeling the strains and the pains and searching for some positive tip as to what might give us a little longer time in life's wonderful trip. So I thought I'd confer with octogenarian Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, because if anyone knows, Keith surely knows. I thought he might say something exciting, even drugs might be in the frame, but I was far too late. Apparently he'd given up cocaine whilst under the influence, and aged almost 63, he'd fallen out of a coconut tree. That's true. And recently, at the age of 80, when asked what accounted for his longevity, his seeming immortality, all he would say was, go to church each Sunday, kneel down and pray. Well, I was shocked, couldn't even speak. I'm not following that advice. Surely he was talking tongue-in-cheek. Now, I'm told on good authority, and you know I wouldn't lie to you, and so you can take it from me as absolutely true, that on average, women lie 6 times a day, and men lie only 3. Well, I value my life, and I don't like bruised and purple skin, so I think I'll simply stay quiet. My survival bias has just kicked in.